Mr. Thakur, I'll go ahead. Shall I start?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay. Good morning and a very warm welcome to our maritime community of seafarers, their families, our panelists for the day, and respective members from the shipping industry. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the Career Guidance webinar today. Today's webinar is one of the events being held as part of the Azadi Mahaotsava, where every month a series of events are held for the maritime community at large. Last month, we had an essay and singing competition where we came across some amazing talents present within the maritime community. Today's Career Guidance webinar is one of the 3 webinars being held this month, and the Maritime Union of India is happy to conduct this webinar for our seafaring community. The topic for today's webinar is Ship to Shore. Someone rightly said, man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. In case of seafarers, is a complete opposite. A seafarer cannot discover new shores unless he has the courage to lose sight of the oceans. Having said that, making the switch from seafaring can be a very daunting task. The very prospect of it can be overwhelming for many. And even when the seafarer himself is prepared to take the plunge, many a times he is highly discouraged by family and well-wishers. When and how to make that switch are other perplexities. Today's webinar seeks to address some of those concerns. The topic, Ship to Shore, is not a new one. In fact, this is a subject taken up every year or so by the maritime fraternity. However, with every passing year, with evolving technologies and a constantly changing environment, new avenues and opportunities are opening up in the maritime sector. Over the past few years, we have seen an influx of various technologies and platforms emerge. Technologies like artificial intelligence, data mining, robotics are being increasingly used today in the maritime sector. Thanks to the COVID pandemic, we have all been forced to use digital platforms for anything and everything. The digital space alone has opened up many avenues for maritime-related activities. It is heartening to see how some of our seafarers are creating waves in the digital and social media space, whereas some others are creating innovative applications that have become a boon to the maritime sector. Today, through this webinar, it is our earnest desire to present some fascinating perspectives to the topic of Ship to Shore. We have amongst our panelists some seafarer personalities who carved out a niche for themselves through their passion, ambition, and desire. Before we head straight into the panel discussion, I would like to request Mr. Singh Thakur, General Secretary of the Maritime Union of India, to share a few words. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Talia. A very good morning to all seafarers and their families and our speakers. The Maritime Union of India would like to welcome everyone to this noble seminar. Under the theme of Azadi ka Amrut Mahotsava and on the occasion of World Maritime Day, we as representative of the seafaring community are happy to conduct the webinar wherein experts in their respective fields will be sharing important insights about their experiences and work and guide us accordingly. This is vast subject and in short time cannot be justice to it. However, we hope that seafarers wanting to come ashore can benefit from the different insights provided today. The tough life of the merchant marine seafarers conditioned them to take on many challenges and develop various skills on shore. They therefore excel in anything they do. A large number of shipping companies across the world have Indians at the helm. This webinar, organized by the Maritime Union of India and Maritime Fraternity and coordinated by Mrs. Shailesh of MEI Women Wing, will provide guidance which I am sure will prove to be an extremely valuable. I now hand over this webinar to Mrs. Saleha. Good luck to you all. Thank you. Over to Saleha. Saleha, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Thakur, for the very encouraging words for our seafarers. We now move over on to the core subject for today's webinar, which is the panel discussion. I take the opportunity to give a brief introduction of Captain Harish Khatri, our moderator for the event. Captain Khatri has over 22 years of sailing, of which over 8 years were in command of foreign-going ships. He was the first captain of India's first gas carrier LPG Nanga Parbat. He has the extra master's qualification. In 1997, Captain Khatri joined the government service in the office of DG Shipping. During his tenure, Captain Khatri has been credited for having upgraded the educational standards of all nautical cadets by introducing BSc Nautical degree in collaboration with IGNOU. He was a nodal officer of the DG Shipping for all maritime security matters, including piracy, for almost a decade. He has represented India in several international meetings of the IMO, ILO, UNCTAD, etc. Captain Khatri has served the Office of Maharashtra Maritime Board in the capacity of its first nautical advisor for over 4.5 years. During his tenure, he supervised development of all maritime activities on the coast of Maharashtra. Captain Khatri was solely responsible for conceptualizing and implementing the RoPax service from Ferry Wharf to Mandwa. At present, he is the head of Mercantile Marine Domain Awareness Center of the DG Shipping, which serves as a nodal point for reporting of all the emergencies on any ship on the Indian coast, as well as Indian ships anywhere in the world. I now request Captain Khatri to take over.
Thank you, Saleha. Thank you so much for a good introduction. I was also surprised at myself. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my proud privilege to moderate this particular session, which the MUI has been so kind and so apt in bringing about. This is one issue. This is one issue which has always is at the back of a seafarer while he is on the ship. There's a lot of disturbance. Could someone, no, please keep it on a mute. Yeah, thank you. And so this is something that every seafarer is all the time thinking while he's on board the ship, and wanting to come ashore, not wanting to come ashore, when to come ashore, and all these issues. And all of us who have been ashore now have all faced and come through this particular dilemma in some way or the other. I have with me a very distinguished panel of speakers who have really excelled themselves in their particular fields, be it ship owning, be it chartering, innovation, entrepreneurship, and we also have a lady officer who's really done marvelous jobs of not only becoming a chief engineer, but also becoming a technical superintendent and now doing some other innovative issues. So without much ado, let me quickly first introduce our very first speaker, Captain Rahul Bhargav. Captain Rahul Bhargav, he is an ex-executive director of the SR Shipping. Presently, he is the chief operating officer. He is from the TS Rajendra 77-78 batch. And after passing out, he had joined Great Eastern Shipping. He left sailing in early '94. And since then, he has been in commercial shipping at SR Shipping, Great Eastern Shipping, Precious Shipping, Bangkok, JM Bakshi, JSW Steel, and now back again at the SR Shipping. He comes with the experience of working at a ship owner's desk, headed a broker's desk, and a charter's desk. In the present capacity at SR Shipping, he wears multiple hats of being a ship owner, charterer, and a ship operator. Ladies and gentlemen, it is such a privilege to introduce Rahul, who is also a very dear friend and plays golf with me. to you and to hear him speak on areas which he has excelled in his particular show. So my first question, Rahul, is how did you manage to get into commercial shipping right from the time that you came ashore from sailing? May you please begin with that aspect, and then of course we'll grill you further.
Thank you, Harish. Thank you for the introduction. And yes, I must thank MUI for doing such a great, taking up such a great topic, which is, as we said, is close to every seafarer's heart. But I'll extend that to every seafarer's spouse heart. It's the wives who want the men to come ashore quicker than what you can think of. We as sailors are enjoying 6 months at sea and 3 months holiday at home, and we don't want to get into the grind of 9 to 5 and non-stop phone calls 24/7. But fine, probably that's where it is. So yes, coming back to how I came ashore, I would say it's by chance. Well, I came ashore in '94, and that time there was no social media or nothing. Our interaction was very, very limited. The only people that we came across was the great MMD surveyors, the PNI surveyors, the pilots, and that's it. So the nautical teachers. So our restricted, we only could think of this thing. There was nothing more that we could think of. And I didn't want to become an MMD or DG surveyor. I didn't want to get into teaching at a young age of late 30s, early 30s. So I decided, so I wrote to all the PNI surveyors company, and mind you, nobody replied. So it was just one day that I was sitting with a friend, a batchmate of mine in one of his office, and telling that I want to come ashore. So he just picked up the phone and called his colleague in SR, and he said, I have a guy who wants to join. And that's it. And then he said, okay, come over. And the next thing that I knew, I was in Hazira, in a village, after having commanded an ultra-large crude carrier, 400,000 tons of crude. The next job that I was looking at dump barges and mini bulk carriers of 2,000 tons. And I was standing in a jetty where the iron ore was flying all over me. In 5 minutes of coming to the office, I would be painted red, or if I was discharging coal, I will be black, or limestone, I'll be white. So that's how it came. So great. Today, this webinar will open up an avenue for the guys who wants to come ashore, not by chance, but you come by choice. So that's where this webinar is all about, that you choose what you want to be and not what you are just driven at. So we had done, in fact, me and Captain Khatri, we did this seminar under the banner of CMI Navi Mumbai, and we did it one full day. As Amar Singh said, that it's a very short time to introduce, but yes, this is a full day thing. Am I audible?
Yes. Please go on.
Yeah. Okay. There's something wrong with the picture screen, so I was wondering. So that's how I came ashore. There was all by chance. There was nothing planned. I wanted to come ashore, but it was just by chance that we came ashore. But today, I'm sure after this webinar, people who are listening will have more opportunities, and they can plan with their aptitude, attitude, what they want to do. Thanks, Harish.
Rahul, thank you so much. I understand by chance the issue, luck by chance. But the point that I want you to kindly ponder more now is that, having come ashore, what were the challenges? In growing into a kind of a I won't use the word babudam because that's reserved for the government service, but still in the private sector, on the ship, you said as a master, dead slow ahead and the ship moved. And here you may think, do whatever, but actually it is the bosses who look at the bottom line, and then, and you are just the fresher who has just come. as you correctly said, you were standing on the jetty and getting mucked up with all kinds of colors. So what was the journey? And when you also speak on the journey, please do advise the those of our fraternity, younger fraternity, who are now wanting to probably look into and follow you in the process of getting a job in commercial shipping.
Yeah, right, Harish. Yes, as I said, it was by chance that I got an opportunity ashore. It was there was no planned way of doing it, but yes, today there are certain ways that you can do it. Narottam Morarji Institute is the institute for commercial shipping. See, when we are on the ship, we are only restricted to knowing our navigation part of it. We don't know how the cargo has come on board, how the cargo, once the cargo goes out, where the cargo goes out. All that thing you learn when you come ashore. There is a total different world. Having commanded or being at sea for last 16 years, when I quit sailing, when I came ashore, I actually started as a cadet because I didn't knew how the cargo has to be shipped on board. So we had to learn all these minute things. What is the manifest and how cargo moves, and what are the customs requirement? How does the ship gets entered into port? How does the cargo is discharged? And what happens if there's a shortage of cargo or there is an excess of cargo? All that thing you start learning once you come ashore. So once you're stepping out from ship and coming ashore, it's a total new world, and you have to have an attitude to learn. We cannot come with an attitude that I have been a master for X number of years and I've commanded the bigger ship or I've done this. But then when you come down, it's the ground realities that hit you. So you have to it. I'm not discouraging it. It's a very good world outside. It's a very good place to be. You are with your families. You have done what you need to do at sea. You've come ashore. It's a very nice thing to learn on. You start, you best, I would suggest whosoever is sailing to go in for Narottam Morarji Institute of Shipping. They have a long distance program, 2 years program. They expose you into all aspects of shipping. So be there, go for it, do this. And while I'm speaking this, I would also like to emphasize, do not say that I am a deck officer or I am an engineer. I know engineers who are running topmost chartering companies. They are the head of chartering. They are doing futures. If I can name it, it's Jagmeet Makkar, who was my second engineer. He was running a Noble chartering head. Now he's running his own company. Likewise, there is a guy in another company in Singapore. He's again was a third engineer. Now he's a chartering head. So there is no restriction that you are an engineer, so you can only become a superintendent. No, sorry, it does not work that way. And now, even if you are engineers, you can come into chartering. I know a radio officer today who is running a repair workshop. He's in Mumbai. He's repairing the turbochargers, and he's affiliated to one of the topmost companies. So there is no distinction of what you have been. And well, somebody was saying that we should also focus for the ratings. Yes, even the ratings are doing good. Even the ratings who want to do it, they are also coming into it. I know some brokers who were seamen. They have become shipbrokers. So there is no end to it. There are opportunities plenty outside. So consider an engineer, consider a deck officer, Captain Afde. He was a technical superintendent of a shipping company before he joined DG. So do not, the way of giving examples to you is that please do not restrict to what you come from. If you are an engineer, commercial side is also open for you. If you are a master mariner, you still can become a technical superintendent. Why not? There is no harm. So please come with an open view ashore that you can do, and just follow what you want to do. If you want to do anything, yes, there is an opportunity available. Now, coming on what is chartering and what chartering activities we are into. See, the chartering is the core of shipping. It is where the money is coming. It is very close to the promoters of ship owning companies. Either you can make the money, or you can make the company, or you can break the company. Poor negotiations can really put big losses. When we talk of freights in shipping, we are not talking $100,000. We are talking in $1 million. And today the market for the dry bulk is one of the best markets to be in. Each capes are going at $70,000-$80,000 a day. So it is a very market which really can help you. So my suggestion suggestion to is chartering is one of the best opportunities that you can get in. It has two parts to it. One is operations and one is fixing. So we call it fixing and post-fixture, where you can start as a post-fixture because you as a sailor, when coming ashore, you know what ship is, how the ship is loaded, how a ship is discharged. So probably you can start from the post-fixture, and while you do that, you learn what is the charter party and contracts. You graduate up slowly to be a chartering manager. So I would suggest this is one of the best field to be in. The agency, stevedoring, and ancillary services which are there, they actually support the chartering. So chartering is the center, and it is the best thing if you want to be into the core of the shipping. Thank you, Harish.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. With your permission, Rahul, I'd like to just add one more thing, that this shock that happens when a person comes from from the sea to the ship. This shock perhaps could be a little bit minimized if the companies, and I know certain companies which are very reputed companies, they have this internship for sailing staff to come and serve 2 months, 3 months ashore, to get a feel of it. And that shock could be then absorbed very well, and it could be very, very beneficial for those who are aspiring eventually to come to shore. Thanks, Rahul. Thank you so much. Point is well noted about the NMIS, the qualification of shore issues, and of course, it's a new word, and anyone can actually make it by learning and learning. Thanks, Rahul. Thanks so much. May I now come to the next speaker, Captain Rakesh Singh. Captain Rakesh Singh is presently the Managing Director of A3 Group of Companies. He's a Master Mariner and also holds Master's degree in Law and Humanities. His over 40 years of journey in the maritime field includes command of ships, serving as Managing Director of foreign shipping company in India, and being a ship owner and an operator of ships. He also has extensive experience in handling claims and maritime arbitration. As the Honorary Secretary of ICC Shipping Association, a representative body of the Indian coastal ship owners and operators, he interacts with various government agencies and other stakeholders in framing of rules, policies, guidelines regulating maritime transportation in India. Do I not know that part? Okay, Rakesh. Okay, time permitting, he also shares his experience with the students appearing for competency exams and management team of various corporate houses. Captain Rakesh, it is such a pleasure to have you on the panel. My pointed question, Rakesh, would be that you are perhaps in that elite group, where master mariners very rarely come up to, that is of a ship owner. We all know as for every Greek born, he wants to own a ship, but that is definitely not the case with the Indians. And you have really broken that glass ceiling and become a ship owner. I mean, awesome. I'm going to leave it only on that aspect, Rakesh. How was your process of finally coming to own a ship? And then we could, of course, look into and request you to kindly also elaborate what would you advise to the youngsters who are wanting to get into the ship operation and ship owning. Rakesh, over to you.
Thank you, Khatri Sahab. And once again, good morning to my co-panelists and all those, my younger colleagues who have joined this webinar. And I couldn't start without what Captain Bhargav said, that all of us who joined our career at seafarer in 70s or maybe early 80s, for us coming ashore was by chance, not by choice or planning. So this webinar probably gives younger generation that opportunity to hear us out, our experiences, and maybe take some lead and then plan their career ashore. Before coming to the pointed question that you asked, Khatri sir, if you allow me, I see that coming ashore is like going from ship to shipping. Those who have ship to shipping, that's a gap. That is, jump, your quantum jump you're taking. But those who have served for 15 odd years at sea and maybe out of those 4-5 years as master or chief engineers, know enough about ship. But it's a time those who want to learn about shipping and expand their horizon, it is for them to switch ashore. Those who are sailing all their life is also all right by choice, absolutely no problem. So it's a jump from ship to shipping. And that could be any domain within the shipping, including the port sector. Let's not forget, port sector is one of the sectors which is offering maximum opportunities, shore opportunities for master mariners and even chief engineers, but to master mariner a lot. So for us as a seafarer, it was a culmination of our aspiration to become a ship owner. But before I advise anybody to start thinking about owning a ship, let me tell you, if you're sailing and you have started thinking and working and planning towards coming ashore, that's the first step. Please do not start straight from the ship to entering into a business. This is in our experience. There may be exceptions, but our experience has been 25 years ashore now, that if you're sailing as a master chief engineer and say that I am coming ashore and I'm starting business straight away, invariably we have seen that the success rate is not so encouraging. So I think the best thing is to work with some company that may be any field. As charting is an excellent field, as a superintendent, as a class surveyor, depending on what is your domain expertise. And also, if possible, to arm yourself with some additional qualification. We'll talk about later. So do not straight away get into any business, forget about ship owning. Quickly, a ship owning in India, generally is understood as ships owned by an Indian company and flagged in India. That's not the understanding, global understanding. You have, as Captain Khatri was rightly pointing out, Greeks own thousands of ships and hardly 10% of them may be registered in Greece. So as a nation, we take a call that what we do, we want to be a ship owning nation or only a nation which flags the ship. So far the understanding has been very restricted, that we have some 1,319 Indian flagships registered under MS Act. So that's what means the ship owning. No, sir. The ship owning can be from outside, which may be Indian flag or not necessarily not Indian flag. Once you're out, you have to own an Indian ship. You have to be a registered entity in India. So there are many successful seafarers who have started a company from outside India and done very well. One name comes, and again, a ex-chief engineer from SCI, senior persons will know Ravi Kumar Mehrotra, with Foresight Group of companies. So, he was working for a company called Hind and then started ship owning with a single ship. And today he's a decent sized ship owner. So it can be based in India, it can be based outside. My personal experience has been that if you have worked for some time ashore and a ship management or a ship operation or a chartering, any shore-based organization which is managing, operating the ships, it's needs a risk appetite, phenomenal risk appetite to get into the ship owning. It could be your own private limited company with you or your wife being the director, or it could be a partnership group of your fellows and friends. Like example, Ocean Sparkle is one of the greatest example in India. So the fellow seafarers, started Jairaj, Dhawan, and the tug owning company. And today they are the publicly traded company and the biggest tugging company in India. So that's one example how seafarers can start business. So if you wish to get into the business of ship owning, my suggestion to all my colleagues who are today present is that A, work with somebody. B, maybe it is advisable to, before getting into the actual ship owning, get into the ship operation. When I say ship operation, it means, and my company still does it, apart from owning, we do a lot of ship operation, which means that we take vessels from other ship owners on a long-term charter, bareboat charter, let's say, and then we operate. So your capex requirement is less. So this is one model where you do not require a huge capital as a part of equity participation, or you do not even require a lot of debt. You require a couple of months of operating cost. Take the ship on bareboat basis. Try small. Start small. If you're wanting to start in India, I will tell you about the advantages and disadvantages of starting a ship owning business in India also quickly. But as I said, maybe better to start as a ship operator, take the vessel for 6 months, 1 year as a bareboat charter, and then employ the vessel, trade the vessel and see how it goes. And then gradually you could, own your own tonnage. There's another option, a kind of a, contract within the shipping is called bareboat cum demise chartering. If you're lucky enough to find somebody, can give you a 5-year BBCD. There again, once you don't need a huge capex to start with, and gradually pay off the ship's cost as well as the chartering, and you become an automatic ship owner at the demise of the charter. That's another way, and Indian government allows BBCD. So start small, maybe start with the operating first, and then get into the ship owning. Also, one point which I wanted to make, yes, starting a shipping company in India has got advantages and disadvantages. Disadvantages are known to almost everybody. We know we have a high finance cost in India to start. We all know that. And most of us have this problem of cash flow with the 13-14% interest. But best of the companies also probably cannot get less than 12-13% of interest. Whereas if you can get external commercial borrowing, or you take your debt in dollar and you can manage to hedge that, then it could be 3-4%, that is LIBOR plus 0.5%, 1%. So you straight away, your ship finance cost is less outside, but it's high in India. And also our regulatory overload, Khatri sir will not agree, but Indian vessels regulatory overload, that leads to at least 10% of extra cost, if not more, gentlemen, when you are running a vessel of open registry. That's a fact. But Thakur sir will also not agree. He'll say, no, it's not correct. But, we all know that. So this is...
Rakesh, sorry for interruption, Rakesh, please. I have running out of time. Only 2 minutes, please.
Okay, thank you very much. So, gentlemen, one ship is no ship. If you want to be a ship owner, one ship is no ship. Because if that ship breaks down, your 100% fleet is gone. Start small. Look at the local opportunities in India. Advantage of India is that you know people, charters, operators, ports, terminals, maybe tugs, dredgers like we did. We own dredgers, tugs, and then we do a lot of operation of the ship. Financing is a challenge, gentlemen, to get money your own as well as participation. Indian companies have, when I bank in, a lot of fuss. They're not only happy with your equity participation and mortgaging the property, they want your flat, your field, your farmhouse, everything if you can. Second thing is, gentlemen, that the business that you're going to get into it. Of that particular business you want to get into, dredging, tug, or small vessel carrying cargo, that decision has to be made. The third one is selection of tonnage. If you happen to choose a wrong type of vessel, you are lumped with it. Take advice, look at the market research, do some studies, contact people. And while choosing the tonnage when you're acquiring, be very, very careful. Look at the remaining life of it, operating costs, etc., etc. And it is not necessary that you only own the ships which are registered under Merchant Shipping Act. There are a lot of opportunities. We are doing it from last 2-3 years. Buy inland vessels. They're also small 2,000-3,000 ton barges. They also carry cargo. They're a replica of ship, never mind small. That's where the risks are less. Margins are also less, but the risks are less. So there are various ways. And as we go along, Captain Khatri, then we will, catch up with other things. It's not possible to detail the whole thing. But thanks very much for giving.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Rakesh, my apologies again for interrupting in between to you. I'm telling you 2 minutes, but I really was running out of time. So, if with your permission again, Rakesh, if I just recap quickly for the audience for the audience what exactly you were trying to put across. Uh, in short, yes, the shipowning by seafarers, a great example of ocean sparkle, definitely is possible. Great example of Captain Rakesh sitting in front of you is definitely possible. But as he has pointed out again and again and repeated it, that start small. You have to learn the ropes, you have to climb the ladder rung by rung. Don't expect the glamorous image of the ship owner of a big ship. That's not going to happen if you start the business right after coming from the ship to shore. You need to learn the operations. You need to go small in terms of taking a vessel on hire, on time charter or BBCD if it is possible. That's just the. And Rakesh has so much to speak, and I'm sure if we have some more time, I would love to get back to you, Rakesh. Thanks so much. Dear.
Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
May I now introduce Captain Shailesh Bhambhani. Captain Shailesh Bhambhani, in his own word, he says he's lucky. This word luck is really, Rahul started off with saying, I joined by luck, and Rakesh was also saying there is no such thing as luck actually. But Captain Bhambhani, in his own word, he says he's lucky to have experienced so many aspects of industry from different stakeholders' point of view. Captain Bhambhani, he cleared his masters in 2008, and he took command in 2012 on a BW Group vessel, and thereafter he came ashore in 2013. And from 2013, he has done amazing things, absolutely amazing things that he has done. One of the things that he has done is he's acquired qualification, and this is what I think I'm going to be looking at Captain Bhambhani to elaborate further. That Captain Bhambhani he did 1 year international business course from the executive course from the IIM Calcutta, and then he has also done his MBA in international business for 2 years full time. He by end of 2017 he presented investors in a shipping company business plan which integrated well with the then existing oil trading businesses. And he started RDR Shipping Singapore, which not only chartered ships for its own trading program, but also took ships on time charter under pool structures. His zest for continuous learning took him to IIM Calcutta. I already spoke to you, 1 year executive program in applied finance. And then he also completed his 2 years MBA in international business in 2014. Then with the COVID in front of him, he actually saw the COVID as a very pleasant surprise and he capitalized on it. What he did is that he co-founded his latest venture in early 2021 called Crystal Ocean Ventures in India. And the idea is that with all his expertise and experience, he now sets his eyes firmly on the may I use the word upgradation of the Indian offshore sector. Rakesh, I hope you are listening to me. Here is a gentleman
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
who's coming into your domain to kind of give you a new fresh ideas. Okay, IV sector, things like that. Captain Bhambhani, I could go on, but then I think I would deprive the participants from hearing from you your journey and your expectations and your thoughts as to how a seafarer could come into the shore and develop into a very successful entrepreneur. I would request you to also speak more clearly on the qualifications, and that hasn't been spoken so far. Qualification that a seafarer must obtain while sailing or while just immediately coming ashore.
Thank you so much, Captain Khatri, for the kind words. And thank you, MUI, for giving us the opportunity to present our views in front of the industry as such and the aspiring seafarers who want to come ashore. I hope I'm audible to everyone, loud and clear.
Yes,
Correct.
you're all right.
So you are audible.
All right. Thank you so much. So I would break down the steps of coming ashore. I would get straight onto the point and break down the steps of coming ashore into 5 major steps. For any seafarer to come ashore, it's very important to have clarity. Uh, Step number one that would be needed by any seafarer would be to secure his family first. So it is important that he has the full support of his family, the full support of his spouse, and to prepare his finances accordingly. It is very, very important. We are used to tax-free dollars, and we're used to money which is available while we are sailing and not available while we are sailing. But when we come ashore, we need to plan accordingly. We have to have a buffer for at least 6 to 9 months because there is a substantial drop in the salaries that seafarers when they are sailing and when they come ashore. So you need to prepare for that. You need to prepare, most importantly, is for the taxes. That's the most important part, which is the most ignored by seafarers because they've never paid taxes being NREs and sailing on board and having the NRE time completed. But that is something which they need to plan. It is important to know that money is never enough. There is never a right time or a wrong time to come ashore. It is when you want to come ashore. That is the most important aspect of coming ashore. It has to come from within. It has to be, okay, now is the time that I need to grow. Now is the time I need to learn. Now is the time I need to make more of my qualifications or my life. Of course, being master on ship is the best thing that has happened to me over the years, and I still cherish it the most. And I've been, as Captain Khatri said, I've been lucky, and I still consider myself very lucky to be part of the shipping industry as such. But there is more to life than ships. There's more to life than being a master, a chief engineer on board. And that is where it has to come from within, that, okay, now is the time that we need to step onto the other side. So as I said, step number one is secure a family first. That's the most important, because without your family support, there is nothing to it. We sail for our families, we come ashore for our families. So that clarity has to be very, very important. Step number two, I would say, is clarity and mentoring. You need to be very, very clear onto what is your likes. You have the 3 A's that you need to always think about, is your attitude, your aptitude, your aspirations. What is your attitude? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to upskill yourself? Are you willing to learn a new trade? That is the attitude. Your aptitude. Not everybody can be a CEO of a company. Not everybody can be a Captain Rakesh or a Captain Khatri or the other distinguished guests that we have. But what is your aptitude? What do you want to become? What do you like? Do you like law? Do you like finance? Do you like operations? You have to get that clarity in place. Chartering is glamorous. Ship owning is even more glamorous. But as Captain Rakesh mentioned, ship owning is not as glamorous as it looks. When you come into the domain, you need deep pockets. You need to be prepared. You need to know all aspects of the shipping industry, not only the operational aspects, but most importantly is the bottom line. Because without the bottom line, you will not survive. So you have to have clarity. So that is where the most important aspect comes, is the mentoring. Please reach out. Please reach out to the industry fraternity. We are there. We have most of the seafarers, and this is the beauty about the shipping industry. Everybody is ready to guide. Everybody is ready to mentor. Everybody wants to give it back to the fraternity, and that is the reason we are all here. Of course, I'm too small a guy to be speaking in front of such distinguished guests and panel, but it is my small thing to give it, my experience to share. So take guidance. There is no harm in calling up. There's no harm in speaking to people and asking them, sir, is this the right thing for me? Is this what is required? That is step number 3. Step number 4, as I've already mentioned, once you have narrowed down, onto what aspect do you want to do. For example, you want to go into law. There are numerous courses that are available in law. There is courses in UK. There are courses in India that are available for law. There is LLM in India that is there. Captain Rakesh himself is a lawyer by profession, and I see a few other lawyers who are present, master marina lawyers who are present in the panel, in the meeting right now as well. Do you want to get into finance? The reason I did, to be honest, I did finance from IIM Calcutta. I was working with investors, and I've made my first financial projections, and I was a disaster. And I realized that that is my weakness. So don't be scared. Don't run away. You capitalize on your weakness. You upskill yourself. You want to something which is not your domain. Get out of your comfort zone. If you've taken the path, it's very, very important that you stick to the path. So you plan accordingly. Then step 4, as I said, once you've narrowed down on the field that you want, then you narrow down on the mentor. Then you narrow down onto role models. Then you narrow down onto companies. For example, if you want to be, again, giving specific example about law and about commercial shipping here, if you want to be in law, then there are what avenues do you have in law? You have the PNI clubs, you have the lawyers, you have the claims of the shipping companies and the chartering companies. What excites you the most? Does charter party excites you the most, or does the courts excite you the most? So you get into, or arbitration excites you the most. So you get to people who speak to them. You understand what is of interest to you. You want to get into chartering, you speak to people who are already doing chartering. Is it that glamorous as it looks? Is it it's sleepless nights for sure. Trust me on that. Commercial shipping or anything which looks glamorous from the outside is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of stress. Of course, there's stress in every aspect of the shipping industry because we are a 24/7 industry as such. But what kind of stress gives you pleasure? That's most important. What is it that makes you smile at the end of the day and you feel, oh, I did a good job, or I'm happy with what I'm doing? That is what matters, because at the end of 10 years, if you're stuck in a 9-to-5 job and at the end of the day you're getting handsomely paid, but then you realize, ye mere liye nahi hai, and you're already 40, and then you've given 10 years of your life and you've become 50 and you've come in a position and then realize I've taken the wrong decision. That's not a pleasant place to be, because there's going to be a constant fight within you always. So it's very important to have the basics and the fundamentals clear from the very first day. What excites me? What I see myself in 10 years time? Do I see myself as a ship owner? Do I see myself as a superintendent? Do I see myself as a CEO of a company? So it's very, very important. I would give hats off to Captain Khatri for being in the government agency for so many years. That itself is commendable, because that itself is a career path, and a beautiful career path to take. Coming down to step number 5, I would say is don't be afraid. Explore and go for it. You have to continuously upskill. You have to continuously learn. You have to be, there might be courses, there might be training. There's going to be a lot of noise around. Ye bhi kar lo, ye bhi kar lo, ye kar sakte ho, ye kar sakte ho. Please get rid of the noise. Yeah. Focus on what is the core. There might not be tangible benefits to everything today. It might see, arey, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ ये CMI के मीटिंग में या MOI के मीटिंग में. No, it is not the case. There's no tangible benefits to everything. It is a continuous learning process, which we need to continuously learn. We need to continuously upgrade. Most important aspect of the shipping industry, guys, that we need to today take into consideration is networking. You have to be networked. You have to be present. You have to be it is a very small fraternity, and you'll be surprised how people go out of their way to help you out. So this is my step-by-step guide to becoming a share. Yeah.
Excellent, Shailesh. You couldn't have put it better. I'm telling you, बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से you have explained exactly, and I think that goes back because of your structured learning that you allowed yourself to be, at the IIM Calcutta, then again a 2-year program again as a formal training, formal education. And that shows very clearly how well you have been able to articulate the entire process. Thank you, Shailesh. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is mine.
Yeah. As far as my service with the government is concerned, I think that's not the focus. The focus is you, gentlemen. Okay. Yes, in one line, I have been completely privileged, and so many thanks, to have worked there in the department. That is at the end of the whole seminar. The takeaway, ladies and gentlemen, are clearly identified by Shailesh. 5 issues. The most important one, as I see, is that what he called it 3 A's, aptitude, attitude, and aspirations. But aspirations, my understanding is that as your aspirations must match with the aspirations of the organization that you work for. I'm looking at that you haven't started your own businesses yet. And if they match, though, then perhaps, it's a wonderful growth for you and also the growth for the organization. But if it is not matching, for example, if you say, no, mujhe to CEO banna hai 5 saal ke baad, and the career path that the organization gives you is definitely not taking you 5 years from there. So there is a mismatch. So kindly be mindful of that particular mine in front of it. As Shailesh very clearly said, after 10 years, you come to a situation that, ye to galti ho gayi. So then 10 years are wasted. Shailesh, thank you so much. Really, it has been a pleasure listening to you. May I now come to Captain Diwan, please? Captain Diwan is the founder and managing director of Carco. That Carco is the Karishma Marine Solution Private Limited. Captain Diwan, sir, thank you so much for being in the panel.
Good morning,
Captain
sir.
Diwan is, morning. Captain Diwan is TS Rajendra 81-82 batch. And he sailed on various types of vessels, including container, bulk carriers, crude, product, chemical tankers from 82 to 97. And then got his command in 94. Shore experience, after a stint of 3 to 4 years ashore as a superintendent, entrepreneur, he returned back to the sea 2001. See, you see, he took a wrong decision. I mean, that's where it was coming. No, I'm just saying it. That you went back to sailing, fair enough. And then he started his own consultancy in 2004 called Carco, an acronym for, I explained already, Karishma Consultancy Services, with the intent to provide various top-of-the-line services to the global maritime industry. These services included preventing inspections, audit, chemical tank cleaning, onboard training. In 2007, Carco pioneered the concept of 3D animation for maritime training. Now, this is where is something very unique that Captain Diwan has done. And this is the need today that it's not only a training tool, a very, very effective training tool, that is the animation. It is also a very important tool for investigating and analyzing, more on analyzing a particular case. An accident takes place and we need to analyze that as to how this has happened. And once we have analyzed it, various tools are there. Animation is one of the best tool that we can. And this is really a niche where the entire shore world is going through, but our seafarers, there are only very few. So Captain Diwan, I look forward to you for explaining how did that you come to the, after just doing a training part of it, and you started on the 3D animation part of it. I am sure a lot of youngsters would be very keen to know this, because this is like, developing a video game. So please do tell us on that aspect.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning. We're still 4 minutes away from noon. So good morning to everyone. Sir, thank you very much. Thanks to MUI for this opportunity to share. And just to, share a thought, I was thinking of focusing more on the entrepreneurship part of the, what we have done so far. So, kind of
Yes, yes.
inspire to inspire the audience here, or the seafarers who would like to come ashore. So there's a very specific reason that I put in my bio, which I shared with you, about the 97 to 2000. I was ashore and then I went back to sea. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me be very candid in accepting I went bankrupt in 2000. So it is the idea is to share, as they say, this is a platform where you can share your experiences, not from any other reason, but to it's either say life experiences are the best experience for others to be inspired and perspire from. So it's the whole idea of the entrepreneurship. I was a superintendent, but of course ventured as an entrepreneur. And as some couple of the speakers already mentioned ahead of me, that do not try to be an entrepreneur without learning the ropes. And that's something I would like to share also. So 1.5 years of entrepreneurship, boop, just went bust. So to put the food back on the table, went back to sea. So that is the reason why I kind of shared my in my biodata that why did I go back? I went back to sea rather. Yes, so life is the best teacher, and that's what you have to learn from. But not everybody should learn from their own mistakes, and that's what I would like to share here as to what it takes to be an entrepreneur and what are your experiences and what you should be ready for. So yes, 2004 I started again Carco, and staying very focused was as an entrepreneur. Again, repeating that a couple of esteemed speakers already mentioned. Do not venture into something which you do not know anything about. And there is enough temptation out there. When you come home with the full of dollars, you'll have enough your relatives and your brothers and your sisters and your uncles and aunties telling you, oh, this is a fantastic project, put your money in this. Oh, that is a fantastic project, that guy is making a lot of money. Go ahead and put your money in that. Do not do that. I assure you, it is a trap. The reason why I'm saying this is that I'm not talking about exceptions. I'm talking of a general rule here. The reason is that we as seafarers, we carry a culture of trust with us when we come ashore. You cannot imagine that if you're a master and a second officer coming and telling you lies, you take his words at face value. So this is the way the trust is built up over the years of service, out at sea. Similarly, in the engine room, you do not expect somebody to tell you lies, but out in the world, it is not so. I will not call it lies, but exactly the exact facts are not stated always. So it's very important that you stay focused on what you know, and that is the maritime domain. And I fully endorse that. Spend your time, the first few years of trying to come ashore, as learning the ropes, being mentored, working under someone. There is enough time. There is no rush. This is not the first man past the finish line. There's nothing like that. So you have to stay very, very focused, and in a very calibrated manner, you have to approach if you're talking or you're thinking of becoming an entrepreneur. And I know Shailesh, the previous speaker, we sailed together about 2 decades ago. And I fully endorse his viewpoints as to the 5 stages or the 3 Ps. Absolutely right. But as I'm going to speak out from my heart, so I will interject it with a few kind of things that we brought into our organization now that I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years. So the first thing is the calibrated transition, which has already been explained and spoken about by a couple of other speakers. Is you have to calibrate it. Do not go for sharp bends. Do not go for quick actions and returns. It will not work. Again, speaking in a very general term, not talking about exceptions here. Or in my own organization, we came out with some one-liners for speaking specifically for entrepreneurs. One of the one-liner that I tell, I have had the good fortune of mentoring a few of our sailors, seafarers, into starting their own businesses, own consultancies. And one of the one-liner I use is, do not let the tap run dry. Again, sharing my own experiences. What do I mean by do not let the tap run dry? When you're starting as an entrepreneur, do not be driven by, oh, that company is providing this service, he's charging so much, I should be charging so much. Do not get into that trap. You are still starting off as an entrepreneur. Now, when I say do not let the tap run dry, let your organization or let your company make a small earning, as small as it can be, but let there be some income in the organization. Do not calibrate it or do not reference it to some other companies or to some other organizations. That guy is doing a pre-wetting inspection for $600 a day. I should not charge less than $550 or whatever. The first step when you are starting as an entrepreneur, the amount you charge is not that important. It has to be some income has to be generated. What does it do? In simple words, when there is even a drop falling out of the trap, it gives you hope. It gives you that belief that there is some water in the pipeline. But when there is no drop falling from the tap, you tend to lose hope. The early years of entrepreneurship are extremely important, are extremely challenging. There is a saying in disrespect to any community, but there's a saying in the Marwadi community, Hajar Din. Hajar Din is 3 years. An entrepreneur needs to sustain, survive, innovate, provide for the first 3 years to actually break through the mold and start, succeeding. So these are the small things that you learn it's got nothing to do with the maritime domain per se. It is simply entrepreneurship. So as I said, I'm speaking from the heart. So you'll have to, forgive me for, kind of being a little passionate about what I'm saying or, sharing some day-to-day thoughts. What Captain Shailesh said is absolutely right. Especially for the marinas, the biggest two things that are important is to let go of that perspective of, foreign earnings. The dollar, on board the ship, we are looking at the everyday's news flash that comes up and says, today the dollar is 74.55 and next day it is 74.25, next day is 73. And your heart goes up and down with the dollar. You have to let go of all that. So because you are no longer in that space. Secondly is about the taxation. Again, what Shailesh told is absolutely right. We are not used to paying tax when we are on board the vessel. But when we come ashore, we have to embrace. Because anyway, taxation is not something, it is not a expense, it is an investment into your own country. So do not be, afraid. Do not do not abhor the idea of paying tax. That is something as an entrepreneur you have to embrace. Even because, like I said, we are so used to looking at our 183 days on board, so that we don't land up paying tax, and then we are running to the chartered accountant. Get me to if I don't make it that one, that kind of stuff. The next thing is about being an entrepreneur. As a few other speakers have already mentioned, you need to have the appetite, and you need to have the passion, and you need to have the inclination. Because entrepreneurship is not about being bound by the narrative is set by you yourself. It's not being set by somebody else. I have full respect for guys who are working, who are doing service, who are whatever. But as an entrepreneur, you are alone. It is that passion within you. It is that belief within you that drives you. You cannot allow that narrative to be transferred to an external force. It has to come within you. And coming to the maritime, again, I will be now I'm getting to be a little specific. It is unbelievable. Take my word for it. The opportunities are immense. दूसरी कहावत है हम जो अपने कंपनी में बोलते हैं, वो मैं कह रहा हूँ, काम की कमी नहीं, करने वालों की कमी है. And you can take these words of mine at face value. Why do I say that? Because there is so much gap in the quality deliverables of services all across the globe. So it's not only about you, it's coming ashore is not about what you will do in Noida or Gurgaon or Mumbai or Cochin or Chennai. Today, the world is the playing field. With communications, with integration of technologies and all that, today we have so many companies providing pre-wetting audits, remote audits, sitting in the comfort of their homes. Entire training concept has changed in the last 2 years. So that is you're in a space which is exploding. So I mentor guys who want to come ashore. We have helped them set up. and it's such a pleasure. Now, the whole thing is, about now coming back to specific about enterprise or being an entrepreneur, So, like I said, it's all about passion. It's all about, doing what you would like to do. Now, Captain Khatri asked me specifically about the animation. Yes, I will briefly touch upon it because it's just one, field of doing things. The focus is not about animation. The focus is on entrepreneurship. So when I was doing onboard training as a consultant, I used to go on board for training. Honestly, I was not very impressed by the way things were being done. And as we, in our marketing pitch that we do for our company, we say, you go on board the ships and you see the guys are not exactly excited about the conventional way of doing things because it had lost its charm. The same seafarer who was, it was a challenge to train him by using the conventional video aids, was running to the, at the 7 o'clock in the evening when we were showing him, Hollywood flick. We would, that guy would come in running with bringing in the beer and the Coke and the chips. So we identified a gap. That means the training could be done better. Now, as an entrepreneur, you identify those gaps. So it's not about animation. It is just an application of technology for the maritime domain. But as an entrepreneur, you're all the time on the lookout for the gaps. Because you have the appetite, you have the aptitude to identify the gaps. So it's a very exciting journey for us. That is, how we capitalized on a gap. We converted it into a deliverable, and then we took it out to the world. Now, in entrepreneurship, sorry, is it my time up? So it's okay then.
Yeah, no, Captain Diwan, I didn't want to interrupt you doing it so passionately. Please go on. Just restrict it to another 1 minute, please. Thank you.
Sure. So one important thing about entrepreneurship is the marketing. Now, something this is, very alien to the seafarers. We are not able to market ourselves very well. So this is where you need to learn or you need to hire the competency. Because बोलता है जो कहावत है जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. And these are the things that you need to, highlight or you need to understand. And when another important thing about entrepreneurship is another one-liner that we have in our company is "Aaj ka Sikandar, kal ka bandar." Means you need to innovate. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's all that I have to share with you about my journey.
Otherwise, I will not ask you.
No, gentlemen, 1 minute, please. There is a time for doing this question answer. Allow me, please, to thank Captain Diwan for such a passionate and very exciting, really from the heart that you have explained. And the catch point was that काम की कमी नहीं है, करने वालों की कमी है. And that must be music to the ears of those who are wanting to come ashore and start and do some things, But then again, as you have highlighted, and so has others speakers before you have highlighted, that don't just jump and said, yes, I will do it, and let the tap run dry, and that kind of thing is not going to happen. You can see, ladies and gentlemen, Captain Diwan has so candidly himself accepted that, after a stint ashore, 3-4 years, he had to go back ashore on the ship again. And that is something that, needs to be avoided. That needs to be avoided. And it can actually be avoided by following certain steps, following certain structured way of doing things. Yeah. Thank you, Captain Diwan. Thank you very much once again.
Welcome, sir.
I come to our last speaker, last but not the least, and actually I should have asked our Miss Archana Saxena Sangal to be the first, the ladies first issue, but then there's no gender issue, Archana, and you will forgive us for all that, okay? I kept it the last because you are the best, and the best has to be kept at the last, okay? I don't see you, Archana, where are you?
I'm here, sir.
Okay, I can't see you, so we still can't see you. Nevertheless.
Yeah.
Okay,
here.
all right, fair enough. Others can see you, that is good enough. Okay, yeah, there you are, Archana.
Yes,
okay, may I introduce Archana to the participants? Archana is one of the pioneer women seafarers of India. She's a marine engineer and served last on a ship as a chief engineer in Tulani Shipping Company. Ashore, she has worked as a technical superintendent in Tonari Shipping and also in Crawley Accord Marine Management Private Limited. She is an active committee member of International Women Seafarers Foundation. In the year 2017, she founded Marine Arc Academy on her own with a single student to provide MEO Class 1 course training. It has now grown throughout the time, and many more courses have been added. Marine Arc Online Coaching Academy is the name under which she incorporated her company in the year 2020. The goal is to offer a variety of value-added courses to help seafarers develop not just their knowledge and understanding, but also their expertise in specific areas. Furthermore, the Marine Arc Academy provides continuous online mentoring to students taking competency examinations in deck and engine department. Today, the Academy has over 15 faculty members and over 400 students have enrolled with them so far. Archana, it is so great to see you and to have you in our panel. And we look forward to a completely different dimension that would come out from your experience and your journey ashore after having left the sailing, and that too at the topmost position of a chief engineer. Archana, all over to you now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Saleha, for giving me this opportunity to be here on this webinar. And yeah, so like I would like to say, the thing is like why I have joined, why I came ashore, how I came ashore, and then what are the prospects for the seafarers and who are looking to join to be on shore. So first of all, this as already it is mentioned, like I was sailing as chief engineer, and then my company offered me a job of technical superintendent in Mumbai. And so that was the reason we shifted to Mumbai, first thing. Then that time when I shifted to Mumbai, it was, I have like 3 months kid that time. My second son, it was just 3 months. But you know, this is so passionate, this job, technical superintendent job and all this. I was so this thing that I grabbed that opportunity. And then I started everything. This technical superintendent, like I really I enjoyed this profile. But what happened is like it demands a lot of time, and my husband is also sailing, so it became for me very difficult to manage the house and you know, the family and the career, like both at the same time. And there was a point when nobody was at home, like my husband was sailing and I also went on ship for 2 days and it became 15 days. So as a superintendent, and when I came back, my family and everything was like got haywire. Then that point, like I thought I have to prioritize something. So then I stopped. I asked, I told them, okay, now I should take a break from this. I want to stay at home. And for 1 year, I stayed at home without doing anything, just taking care of my family. But then, since I am a seafarer, I have a lot of expertise. I have done, expertise means I have studied so much knowledge. I thought what I am doing at home, like I should do something. But the priority again is same, like I cannot go out of the home. I have to stay at home. So then I just started with this, to give the coaching or classes to students who going for class 1, chief engineer's competency. So there was one student who came, and through Skype, it was just through Skype I started, and then he took the coaching and he cleared. And then again 4 students came, they all cleared in their whatever attempt they were with me, they all cleared. And then suddenly so many people came. Then I thought, yeah, then I need to have some more faculty. I could not manage. And then I asked there is Saxena sir and all. Then I formed a team and then started that way. So the thing is, we cannot say, then slowly, this thing has grown up, and then about this, then I, like, when more people came, more students came, then we thought, like, why don't we introduce some kind of courses, some like where the seafarers are lacking on ship, like the reading of drawings, reading of hydraulic circuits. So that thing, then I looked for the people, the best of the faculty who can teach, and we have formed courses and all, and that way we started research and all that thing we put in, and we and it also grown. So it is all, it is all, there is no much of publicity. It is just word of mouth. And now, as sir said, marketing, we need a lot of, now we are, now as an entrepreneur, now I have to look for more of, growing up and to contact to the companies and all other things. So it is like this way it is going on. We are just, as a company, I am just 1 year old. So, but as a coaching and this, we started from, like I'm 3 year course. So what I want to tell to all the seafarers who are looking for entrepreneurship or who wants to join, who wants to shift to the shore. So you should be, first of all, you should know what you should have full knowledge about what you want to do. So you cannot depend on other. You have full knowledge. You should, if you are having some hobby also, you can develop it, and you can develop it and you can take it to a very high, heights. So just acquire all the knowledge about it, which areas, learn about it, build expert. You should be very at the back. See, this thing, what I am doing, it started with there is no, money involved. Like I have not invested anything in that. It was online. We started with Skype, and now it is on, like, it's online platform only. We are doing it. So there was no money, this thing, but slowly when the team came, then we need to spend that thing. So the idea is, I want to tell, don't, all of you, please look where you are, what is your area of expertise, look for it, build up on that, build a team, give them their role clarity, like you have to do this. So that way you can slowly, step by step, you can build up. And in shore, we have a lot of opportunity. If I can do something, you people can do a lot of things. And I also had, when I started this coaching or started giving classes to the student, I had that thing in mind. Maybe these people might not come to me because why should I take a technical coaching from a girl, from a lady? But nothing happens. Like everybody, you just need to be very good in your work. That's all. Religious, very good. And then you see how, now I'm learning how to, learning about the business more, like how to grow. So it is learning all the way. I cannot give a lot of things like, this is how I'm learning now on the marketing point of view, like how to go about it. So it is eventually, it's a process. And if we are very true to our work and we are confident, and as an entrepreneur, like sometimes you feel you have to feel like there will be ups and downs. You have to believe in yourself. Like, no, nothing will happen, and things things will go through like that way. So these things I feel, and there are number of opportunity. Other ways also you can do, like other dignitaries also said about like people can do go into the commercial side, MICS, they can do, and there are other things we can do. I'm also pursuing extra cheap, so people, you can, if you want to join as a surveyor, you can go, you can do this extra chiefs or extra masters. So it is all, it is these things which is very, very important. There are so many areas and sky is the limit, and there will be a failures. Okay, take it, but don't give up and pursue like whatever your belief, whatever is your expertise, and whatever is your goal, you please go towards it. And everybody is here to guide you. Like so many, you can approach anyone who can guide what direction you can go. So that is what I want to say about to all the seafarers. Thanking you, sir.
Thank you, Archana. Thank you so much. Thank you. I know that you spoke extempore and you actually spoke with whatever you have gone through and achieved it. The point that clearly comes out is that work-life balance that as a lady has been an important challenge, and you overcame that challenge.
It is very, very important because as a lady, if your husband is also sailing and nobody else, you need to, priority becomes your home at times. No, you have to prioritize.
Absolutely. And here is, ladies and gentlemen, here is an example that she started something without any financial investment. The only investment that she managed and she contributed was her time. And look at the success. And that success is only the first step right now, and further upskilling and there is, which is continuously a process. I hear Archana saying that I want to do extra chief as well. So this is all process of office. She's learning the business. She's only 1 year old company, and hats off to you, Archana. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, I come to the last that all the speakers have actually spoken, and now the floor is open for any questions that the participants may ask from any specific speaker or to anyone else. The floor is open. Looks like our speakers have been very elaborative. Well, but let me also quickly add. I may have some questions as well, but let me quickly add that all the speakers have privately, on one-to-one basis, have told me that they are willing to mentor anyone and everybody, whoever approaches them. And for sure, I'm sure we would be requesting Shailesh ji to share the email contact numbers of the speakers, and which will be very beneficial to take these issues forward. Right in the beginning, Captain Bhargav very clearly said that we actually did a one-day full program on this at the CMI Navi Mumbai, I think 2 years back. So the time is short. We must remain disciplined to the time allotted to us by Shailesh ji. And I again look for if there are any more and any questions whatsoever, please.
Sir, there is one question. Can you please highlight regarding growth opportunities? I think it's
for a particular speaker.
Yes, Captain Rakesh Singh. What are the opportunities for growth?
Okay, Shailesh. I have not understood the question correctly, but I would quickly run through something and use this that as a first stepping stone ashore. We have lots of opportunities, and particularly in today's world, the number of types of opportunities have multiplied. In fact, the master mariners can choose a career as pilots in government ports, own port, as well as in the private ports. And the government ports, they can even grow up to become deputy conservator, harbor master of the ports. That's one opportunity. In private ports today, we see a number of people who started as a pilot are CEO of the port. The Mundra port, Dhamra port, Hazira port, these ports, CEOs are master mariners. Then we have, we all know that for first class engineers, you have 90% or more are class surveyors or engineers. And likewise, the superintendent, technical superintendents, DPAs, etc. There's a tremendous, lots of opportunity for engineers to, apart from, of course, I must not miss out, the Captain Khatri will say I have not addressed that, is a government job, working for DG Shipping and Mercantile Marine Department. But that's where if you want to join government job and you want to do justice to your potential, the qualifications become very important. The extra first class, extra master, they become very important. If you could do that before joining or after joining also, you can do. There is another equivalent qualification, Captain Khatri, that is MSc from Malmo University is considered equivalent now. So that's another opportunity. Today, I find one particular qualification find a lot of favor is MBA in shipping and port management. That is equally applicable to master mariners and first class engineers. I see a lot of master mariners and engineers employed abroad with their respective technical degree and the MBA in shipping. So the port is one opportunity, the class and the superintendent is one. For engineers, another great opportunity, a lot of engineers employed in the machinery and plant makers and service providers. If you look at the Mahaotsava or Cummins or Caterpillar, you'll find lots of engineers employed there. So as underwriters, yes, then probably you need a degree in law, whether it's third party or first party underwriters and the claim handling. Brokerage houses employ a lot of master mariners. So it has been, you can join as if you've done law, you can join a council of arbitrators, you can be an arbitrator. So these are the stepping, sure opportunities, and then you can go respectively. Superintendent can become a CEO. Class surveyors, we know all the heads of the classification bodies are colleagues, chief engineers. Pilots, as I already mentioned, agencies offer a lot of jobs to master mariners. So these are the few opportunities very quickly I jotted down to share with you. But do try and get some qualification if you can. I'm not saying the master mariner and first class MOT is not enough, but if you can get some additional qualification, it helps. So I hope that has answered your question partly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, Captain Khatri, there are some questions in the chat as well. I'll just help you out with that.
Okay, let me just see. How do we see this?
There is a question for Captain Bhambhani. Career options assured for deck personnel who are involved in container ships.
All right, thanks, Alala. So basically, I wouldn't want anybody to restrict themselves from being a deck officer or an engineer or to being from a container ship. It doesn't really matter. As I've mentioned earlier already, it's basically the 3 A's that matter. What is your attitude, aptitude, and aspirations? It doesn't need to be, once you're coming ashore, you have to upskill yourself. You have to get into...
We are in a webinar. Can you call me after an hour? Yeah, can you call me after an hour?
Yeah. So you would have to basically align yourself to what you want to do. As everybody's already pointed out, there's a lot of opportunities. There is a lot of work. Kaam ki kami nahi hai, karne walon ki kami hai, as Captain Diwan pointed out. And just a proud moment for me, as Captain Diwan said, I used to be a cadet 20 years back when he came back to sea after a short stint ashore. So I'm sharing the same panel with him today, so very proud moment for me. But again, don't limit yourself by any qualification that you have a deck, engine, or container or tankers. Just go out there, skill yourself accordingly for what you need to be, for what you like, and what is your aspirations. I would say that.
Okay, thank you. There is one more question I see on the chat. It says that, is it a must for one to shift to coastal states only, such as Mumbai, Cochin, Chennai, Calcutta? Well, in today's world, the way things are happening, you could probably work from inland as well. But while obviously the opportunities are much more on the coast, inland also there are plenty of opportunities. There are ICDs very much inland. There are training institutes, and then you could do off and on, be an inspector, be an investigator, There are opportunities inland as well. If you get into the commercial cargo issues, you could be a cargo aggregator. All that is there, but certainly if you are on the shore, naturally the opportunities are much more.
Khatri sir, a small point with your permission.
Please.
We have addressed officers and we had initially discussed that let's dwell 2 minutes on ratings as well. So may I just add?
Yes. It's 12:32. Rakesh, please do go ahead.
Yeah.
But
sure.
Kindly
Nothing particular, sir. Just wanted to share an information that somebody already said the ratings are also choosing to opt ashore, and they have done well in the respective field. But this is a piece of information that before COVID, government of Ministry of Shipping in cooperation with Ministry of Skill Development has hired an agency called PricewaterhouseCoopers, and they have been interacting with us, ICSA particular, and trying to find out that our ratings, particularly who are AB and oilers who have been working at sea for 10, 20, 15 years, their qualification for shore office purposes is not recognized or understood for that matter. Well, so the ministry is working, those who have got this watchkeeping certificate and worked ashore, maybe create some equivalent certification qualification for them so that they can get the jobs ashore as well. That's the information, and this is work in progress.
Rakesh, thank you so much. Thanks so much. There are more questions which are there on the chat box, Saleha, but if you want to extend the time, by all means we can answer, or you could answer those questions. You can, the speakers can answer those questions respectively to the individual people.
Captain Khatri, sorry for interruption. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is Captain Amol Patanka.
Captain Tonnage, please go on.
Yeah. Could you please share the contact details for the future correspondence with the eminent distinguished speakers? Because I am a sailing master now, 10 years in command, and I would like to switch over to a shore job.
Okay, absolutely, Captain Patanka. We have received similar requests from others as well. So I am sure Saleha ji is taking note of that, and she would make sure that these details are put up on some site or individually conveyed. Saleha ji, would that be correct?
Sir, if they can email us at muiww@maritimeunionofindia.com, and we will reply to them with the email addresses of the speakers.
Could you repeat, please?
The email address is muiww@maritimeunionofindia.com.
At maritimeunionofindia.com, correct?
Yes. The address is also on our posters and the email messages that are going around, and you can also connect to us through our website as well.
Thank you, Saleha. Thank you. Noted. Thank you.
Captain Khatri, I think we can extend by a few minutes if okay. Mr. Thakur, do we have your permission to extend the webinar by a few minutes?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Please.
Thank you, sir.
Captain Patanka, thank you so much for asking that. That will, be beneficial to many more people who are also looking at. And in case, just in case you are looking to join a government service, I'll be more than happy to share my experience and also guide you into, coming ashore for the government service. Private का मुझे नहीं पता है, बाकी लोग बहुत अच्छा जानते हैं.
So how do I contact you now for this?
Saleha will convey that to you.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Khatri sir. Thank you. Yeah.
I have one question, Captain Rakesh. I got one question. Can an NCB master or NCB chief can switch over to shore job, or he want to switch over to shore job? What course he has to do? Because there is no guidance for them. Because government says any certification. Once they say master formula certificate or chief of formula certificate, and say any certificate for government of India. So what does it mean? Can they switch over to shore job? Yeah, there are 2-3 inquiries came to me in the office. The NCB master and chief, they want to switch over to shore job, but they are not getting this opportunity.
Yeah, Thakur sir, thank you. Being a coastal industry representative, that's a question I can answer very well. See, absolutely, they can join. The Khatri sir will know this very much better than me. There's only one catch. When I suppose want to employ personally an engineer or a deck officer in my company, what I see is that whether he fits in the criteria of DPA also or not. That's always playing in the mind of the entrepreneur. Now, but remember, for coastal ships, especially river sea vessel and ICV vessel, the DPA criteria says that even a class 4 NCV or an NWK with experience can be DPA. So very much employability is there. Please, we are looking out for these people. In fact, there is enough opportunity for first class MOT and master mariners in various companies. So, and they do understand the business. The ships are small, budgets are less, more complications. So those who have served on these ships are really beneficial to us. So yes, of course, opportunity exists, particularly in coastal and IV sector.
Okay. May I add this? May I add something? That you see, if you are an NCV master or an NCV chief engineer, then you have the best experience and qualification for operating NCV vessels. And if there is a shipping company or a shipping operator who's running the NCV vessels or even RSV vessels, there is absolutely no bar by anybody to employ you as a technical superintendent for those ships. Nobody says that you have to have a master foreign going certificate to become a technical superintendent. Nobody. There is absolutely no issue, particularly when you are running an NCV vessels. So that is one issue that the private companies could look into, those who are in this business of coastal ships.
Captain Khatri, if I may add something more.
Please.
All right. Extending from what Captain Rakesh started off with on the ratings as well, I would say there is no entry barrier to any seafarer entering in the commercial field. With respect to be it an oiler or a seafarer or a AV as well, as long as they know where to approach, what to approach. I've seen, especially in Europe, if you see the shipbrokers and the chartering guys, they're not even seafarers. So it is just a seafarer, or be it any seafarer, be it a oiler, a AB, or a OS, as long as he's seen a ship, he knows what the operations is. He's more than handful rather than a guy who's never seen a ship. So he can be utilized as a operations executive. He can be used as a purchase executive. He can be used as a chartering assistant. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities. You just need to approach the right channel for it. So there's no distinguishing between ratings, officers, cadets, or senior officers. It's just the right channels.
Captain Khatri, may I?
Yes, Rahul, please.
I agree what Shailesh just said, and I would like to tell everybody that there is no discrimination between deck, engine, rating, officers, anybody. In fact, when I was running a broking house, running a broking house is one of the most difficult things, because they fix one ship and they run away and they get a better job. I have picked up people from stock exchange. I picked up a girl from stock exchange, and today she is heading in Dubai a cement chartering company. I had another guy who was an MSEB engineer, and he showed passion to become a shipbroker. Today he is again working in one of the ship owning company as a chartering manager. So what I'm trying to explain here is there is no end, there is no discrimination. You don't even have to be a sailor. You don't even have to know a ship. If you want to, you can join. And he's rightly said that it is a commercial side. You don't need to be a ship person. Whether you can be from the purchase department, you can be absorbed. So there is no discrimination. You be a rating. Since we are talking about seafarers here, you can be a rating, you can be an officer, you can be deck, engine, even you could be from catering side. So long you have a passion to do it, it can be done. In fact, when I was running this broking house, I used to just pick up the people who look street smart. That's all. What we need in broking is just street smart people. And then we train them up from zero level. And I can tell you, assure you, I've trained people in less than 6 months who are ready to move on. So that is possible. It all depends on individual. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul. I think we are now running short of time. I see a lot of questions coming on the chat box, asking, electrical officers asking, how do we get a shore job? for all of you, here is the the future, your future employers in front of you. You can see Captain Rahul Bhargav, you can see Captain Shailesh, you can see Captain Bhambhani, you can see Captain Rakesh, and even you can and Mrs. Archana. They're all your future employers. Go ahead and approach them, and you never know, you could be lucky. As some of Shailesh said, I've been lucky. Rahul said it has been by chance and by luck, etc. So you could be lucky. Here are your employers in front of you. Celia would definitely share all the contact address. And if by any chance, if by really a small chance that you may still want to join a government service, I tell you, this is the best choice you will ever make. So join the government service. I have no problem in guiding you how to go about. This is the best service that can happen. The spectrum that it provides you is amazing. Is such a large spectrum you would never get in any other private jobs.
Thank you,
So
sir.
anyway,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So may I just quickly conclude then, gentlemen, that if you want to come ashore, the first thing that you should do is that shut off the escape route to the ship. What does that mean? This is very nice. Nothing is working out, something you've not got a job, 3 months, 6 months, you look for a job and you wanted to start a business, etc. Not worked out, go back to the ship. So you need to shut that particular option dead. I mean, if it means that, okay, you are not going to revalidate your certificate of competency or your CDC, whatever, that you need to shut that door. Then you will stay ashore for sure. That is number one. And then, of course, as has been said, that settle your finances, secure your family. This is foremost. No doubt about that, because this is one thing. If this is not done, then you will go back to ship again. Yeah. Then once you have done that, then of course you need to choose well from the array of opportunities that are in front of you. With finances, without finances, starting small, doing the operations job first, climbing the ladder, not with none finances. And you see Mrs. Archana telling you that she even started 1 year back her businesses without any finances. It's only the time. Then you need to also be conscious that you need to upskill. The knowledge that you have gained on the ship is not sufficient. It is only just opening a door for you, ajar. You need to upskill. You need to obtain more qualification ashore. And Captain Shailesh is an example, what kind of upgrading and what kind of qualifications that he has put himself to it and obtained it. Awesome, amazing. And you need to do that. You need to be conscious that you need to skill yourself differently now. Of course, as has been again said by Shailesh, the 3 A's, they are so apt, the attitude, aptitude, and aspirations. It's very, very important that, oh, I was master on this ship, I was chief engineer on this ship. Oh, it's all gone past. It has given you a door open. Whether you go through it or not is going to depend on you. And then, with all best wishes, ladies and gentlemen, take the plunge, come ashore and do well. Do well. I'm sure there are so many opportunities. Every one of the speakers have said there are opportunities galore. We just don't have people who can deliver quality services, right? And with this, I conclude. The only thing that I can also request is the MUI. Maybe I'm getting this idea that MUI could even start a mentoring cell. You could have a cell which could look into and mentoring. It will become more structured instead of one person trying to reach out to another person. It could actually run a cell, and then the cell could all, this kind of seminars are not all the time possible. But we get requests, and then we can sit in a committee, and we can, and throw it out to the industry people and get some ideas. And you never know, we may help a lot of people. That was my suggestion. Thank you, participants, my fellow panel speakers, and of course, Saleha ji and Mr. Thakur. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And your wonderful idea. We'll definitely look up to this. And we'll make a separate team for this, for mentoring.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you, Captain Khatri, for your concluding remarks. I will just go ahead with my vote of thanks. It was a very interesting panel discussion which gave many insights into the various roles seafarers can take up if and when they plan to stop sailing and come ashore. It gives hope that all is not over when one decides to step ashore. Excuse me. Yeah. I hope that hearing our panelists speak today, our seafarers who have been wanting to move ashore feel inspired and confident to make that switch from ship to shore. As we come to the end of our discussion today, I would like to thank Captain Khatri for moderating the panel discussion to its entirety and bringing out the best from our speakers. A big thank you to our panelists for the day, Captain Rahul Bhargav, Captain Rakesh Singh, Captain Pravesh Diwan, Captain Shailesh Bhambhani, and Ms. Archana Saxena Sangal. Thank you for taking the time out to share your journeys and pearls of wisdom with us today. I would like to thank our media houses present today, Sailor Today, Marix Media, Vandarkar Publications, CJOB. And thanks are in order for all the organizations who have been working under the Azadi Ka Amrut Mahaotsava, CMMI, MASA, FOSMA, ICSA, INSA, NUSI. And last but not the least, a big thank you to Mr. Amar Singh Thakur, the staff at MUI and members from the Women's Wing for their constant support. With that, we bring this important webinar to a close. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sadhya.
Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, everyone.